Hello, class. I did my research paper on Ray Charles, and the song that I focused on was Georgia on My Mind, that was recorded by Ray Charles. Ray Charles was born Ray Charles Robinson in Albany, Georgia on September 23rd, 1930. Ray Charles became blind due to a diagnosis of glaucoma before the age of 7, and his mother sent him to a school in Florida, which was called St. Augustine, and it was a school for the deaf and the blind. And this is where Ray Charles really learned to play instruments such as the piano and the trumpet. He also learned to read and write in Braille, and then later learned to compose and produce music in Braille. Charles' mother died when he was only 15 years old, and after she died, this is when he began touring. He toured with a group that was called the Mixed Sun Trios for most of the 1940s. While in this group, Ray Charles released the group's first single titled Confession Blues in 1949. And he was also a part of some record companies called Swing Time and Downbeat. It was in the 1950s that Ray Charles joined Atlantic Records, and during his time at Atlantic Records, Charles produced many hits like I Got a Woman, Hallelujah, I Love Her So, and Drown in My Own Tears. Ray Charles really wasn't known as one of the rock and roll artists of the 1950s. His career really didn't peak until the 1960s, and he just wasn't considered one of the pioneering rock and roll stars. Today he's known as the first important soul artist, but at the time that he was producing music, his genre was more of gospel and blues, but he's now considered one of the, biggest parts of the beginning of soul music. He influenced a lot of artists such as James Brown, Aretha Franklin, and Sly Stone. He later released hits like Hit the Road Jack, What I'd Say Parts 1 and 2, Rainy Night in Georgia, and I Don't Need a Doctor. These are all hits that he released in the 1960s when his career was really taking off. Ray Charles really didn't want to be classified as like one type of artist. He broke many barriers in the music industry. One big barrier he broke was that he released a country album where he redid country songs like Bye Bye Love and Hey Good Looking and put his own twist on it. And it was a bunch of different musical techniques and genres that he used. And he was sort of laughed at the time, but it became to be one of his biggest albums that he released and had a really big impact on the music industry. Um, Ray Charles released Georgia on My Mind in September of 1960, and this was during the civil rights movement, and I believe it was just a way to kind of bring up the morale of his home state, which is Georgia. And uh, I really wanted to at least play out a little bit of that before I end my presentation on Ray Charles.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia, Georgia, a song of you comes as sweet and clear
Ray Charles died on June 10th in 2004, but he was an incredible artist who inspired many different artists, and he remained an active member of the music industry until the day he died. And I believe his hits will always have an impact on the music industry and inspire artists in some kind of way. Thank you.